Hello, this is Unlimited Splash, where we get better at Magic together through a new draft every day, and today I'm jumping into the final Arena Direct Sealed Winabox Challenge. If I get 7 wins before my second loss in this event, I get 2 boosters of lorwyneclipsed play booster packs mailed to my house. Behind me you can see that I have 1 booster boxes in Tarkir, 2 of them in Foundations, and 2 of them in Avatar. But Lorwyn has so far eluded me, so I am really hoping that on this final Arena Direct weekend, I can convert these 6,000 gems into something amazing to open, and finally, a booster box. Let's go. I'm hoping for Figure of Fable is the card I always want to open because it's so strong and so flexible, and there it is, Figure of Fable. I called it into existence. So, Figure of Fable and Brigid go fantastically together. Reese is not a strong card, but it is a 2-drop with power, and by the way, it could do something like, I don't know, give your Figure of Fable persist? No, that doesn't really work. Level down your Figure of Fable? No, that doesn't work. Well, hey, maybe we'll find some synergies with it. Adept, Watershaper, Temple Garden makes Figure of Fable easier to play and easier to activate. Champion of the Path is a highly synergistic Elementals card, so there may be room for that. And then finally, Taster of Wares, a very strong card. At its worst, it is a slightly chunkier Ravnica Rats because it itself is a goblin, so worst case scenario, it's exiling a card of their choice from their hand, but it can be better than that. The upside is much higher. All right, so let's see what we have in our pool. I'm just going to go through the colors and I'm just going to call out the pulls into the colors that stick out to me. So looking at white, and we are hoping to have good white, I think Personify is perfectly fine. Keep Out is removal. We have Reese and Timid Shieldbearer, a little weak on 2 drops, I'm afraid. Adept Watershaper is okay, and Brigid could be good if we do end up going Kifkin specifically. Crib Swap is like the worst removal spell. Perhaps we could play Meander's Guide, but it gets a lot worse after this, but Thoughtwift Imbuer is very good if you're in Kifkin. Okay, in blue, I'm looking at, let's see, Gravelgill, Scoundrel, Noggle the Mine, so we do have a good number of early plays in blue. Colrath Mystic is okay, so is Silvergill Peddler, a little card selection. Omni Changeling is a nice pull into blue, as is Wanderwine Farewell, but I would say, honestly, I would be very surprised if we end up playing blue. In black, let's see, Mudbutton Curse Tosser would be good if we end up very specifically in Goblins, but it's only playable in that deck. Double Bogslive's Embrace is a lot, though. That is really nice. Iron Shield Elf is a fine 2-drop, and I'm not a fan of the Moonglove Extractor, and then there's Taster of Wares, so I'm wondering if we're looking at maybe a black splash. It doesn't seem like black is a good main color, but double Bogslive's Embrace and Taster of Wares is good. Unbury is a powerful card. Getting 3 of them is a little funny. Not so happy to spend 3 uncommons that way, but it happens. And then in red, Cinder Strike is removal, as is Giant Fall, but not the best removal. Triple Enraged Flamecaster is really not where you want to be at. But then we do have the Champion of the Path and Feed the Flame, so I'd say my red looks okay. Red looks okay. And then finally, looking at green, we have double Assert Perfection. Fantastic card, Assert Perfection. Dundulin Weaver. Morkant's Eyes is not very good in Sealed because it requires the Elf synergy. Same with Midnight Tilling. Moonvigil Adherence, though, can be good. And Wildvine Pummeler, okay, that's a card that can win games. Marrow Sky Swimmer, Reaping Willow is an interesting, those are 2 interesting cards. And I'm happy to see Mischievous Sneakling and just a few little synergistic shapeshifters here. Double Changeling Wayfinder, that's going to really help us splash. And we do have those dual lands. Not so happy that I spent so many slots on dual lands, but we do have them. Hovel Hurler is also a card that can win games. We're definitely going to be running this Figure of Fable no matter what. And Wary Farmer is very playable. Chitinous Graspling is very mediocre. So, okay, maybe there's a world where I play some more of this blue, but I'm going to organize these up a little bit, and let's see what our possible color pairs are looking like. Okay, so looking at my colors, I would say black is looking really bad, although if I can splash for the Bogslive's Embraces and even Taster of Wares, that could be good. My white looks like my best color by far. Figure of Fable is obviously a huge pull into white and green. I also have Adept Watershaper, which is quite good. I have a pretty good curve. I have multiple pieces of removal, even if they're maybe not the best. Brigid is also a huge pull into white and green, in my opinion. It's just a really good card as well in Sealed. And then I have some solid bodies, and Thoughtwift Imbuer is pretty nice as well, if I can get the Kifkin count up. Red is looking a lot worse to me. I mean, there is Cinder Strike. Giant Fall is a very bad removal spell, though. Feed the Flames is a lot weaker in Sealed when you don't have the 4 mana or more payoffs. Like, I have 0 Tamifel Rhyme Speaker in my pool, for example. Enraged Flamecaster, same thing. it's not even very good with the synergy, so without the synergy, it's extra bad. So I'm going to move this Noggle Robber over to being mainly a green card, and if you look at it that way, I really have almost no pulls into red, except Champion of the Path. But to be any good, Champion of the Path needs mega, mega, mega support, and I do not have that in this pool. My blue, I think I was maybe a little bit too low on earlier. I mean, Omni Changeling is a great card. Summit Sentinel, Coloreth Mystic, Silvergill Peddler, Thirst for Identity, even Noggle the Mind. These are very filler type cards, but they're respectable filler. It would not be a disaster to have a bunch of those in my deck, so if that's what's needed for my curve, so be it. But then my green actually also looks pretty good, right? I mean, Double Assert Perfection's nice, Morkant's Eyes, if I can support it, will be good. And then I have some ways of winning, just putting stats on the board. Dawn's Light Archer has 4 power. I do think in Sealed, a lot of the time, you just want to put your opponent in the position of answering your threats. Dawn's Light Archer is an assertive card in that, in a vacuum, this is a 5-turn clock, right? So it's easy to answer, but it does demand an answer. And then finally, we have enough to do some fixing with the Changeling Wayfinder and 2 dual lands. So I'm going to try to build probably green-white first, and then I might look at blue-white, and we're going to keep in mind the possibility of this black splash. I'm pretty much going to rule out red, and black is mostly ruled out. It's just a possible splash color. So let's look at green-white first, just to set a Figure of Fable-inspired baseline for our deck. Okay, so I started with essentially all of my green and white cards and started whittling them down. I got rid of some of my worst removal and also the off creature type cards like Meander's Guide. And then I'll say I just found myself cutting a lot of green. I didn't feel, well, maybe I could build this in such a way that I would cram it with changelings like Chitinous Graspling and, I don't know, Stalactite Dagger pieces, and then I would get to play Morkant's Eyes. It's not natural, though. My elf count is very low, 2 elves, 3 shapeshifters. It's much more of a Kithkin focus, I would say. So that makes me think that green is maybe not the best color. I'm going to now go look at blue and white. The green gives me easier activations of Figure of Fable. Moon Vigil Adherence is good, so is Noggle Robber, and Assert Perfection is good. But the rest of the cards in green are just not very good or not very well supported. So let's see if we can do better in another color. Blue-white is not super impressing me either. I mean, maybe this is a little bit slanted to be a little bit too aggressive, but I'm just playing a lot of cards that are kind of at odds with each other. I haven't found the deck yet. I'm going to keep digging. So something I like to do when I'm a little bit lost or just having, you know, sometimes in Sealed deck, you sort of get that feeling that you've kind of lost your anchor. Like, I don't really know what my primary color is. I don't really know what my secondary color options are. A lot of decks are looking kind of equivalently bad to me. Something I like to do is just sort of lay out all of my cards that would make me, if not actively happy to play, at least like I kind of look for reasons, or I feel kind of happy at the idea of playing them. It's totally unoffensive to me to play them, or I'm really looking for a reason to play them. In the looking for a reason to play them stack, Figure of Fable, Adept, Watershaper, Brigid, Taster of Wares. There's variation here. I'm looking for more of a reason to play Figure of Fable than Adept, Watershaper. But what this shows me is it immediately narrows it down to the cards I'm looking for a reason to play are all in Abzan. And to the left of that, I have cards where I'm going to be perfectly happy to play them. And I'll put Bogslither's Embrace, Noggle the Mind, and Assert Perfection all in kind of the same category of these are my removal spells. These are cards where I feel like if I'm leaving my good removal out, and I know I've said a lot of negative things about Noggle the Mind, but Sealed is a very different story from Draft, okay? In Sealed, a removal spell is a removal spell, and you can't be quite as picky. And Noggle the Mind is way better than Crib Swap for a bunch of different reasons. So this shows me that for the most part, my removal is also Abzan. And then here I'm looking at cards where if I can make them happen, they can win games. I mean, Noggle Robber is kind of its own case. This card is just so good, especially if you have Vivid payoffs, but also if you're splashing, it's just a good body with ramp. It's just an inherently powerful card. The other 3 cards are cards where they will win games if you let them, if they can go off. So these are all cards that are removal, very happy to play them. And with the exception of Noggle the Mind, again, they're all in Abzan. And then finally, here's a category of just commons that I really like. These are personal pet commons that I think are very strong. And we're not even thinking about synergy yet. Just these are cards that in a vacuum have enough power that I'm actively pretty happy when I play them. And again, all of them are in Abzan. I mean, Maris Geistorm are on a technicality, but it's not actually very intensive of white, because if you have 1 white creature and 1 plains, you can cast this. And with the exception of Silvergill Peddler, these cards also could fit into an Abzan deck. So this super simplifies my decision making. It's not a perfect system, but this captures and is consistent with a bunch of stuff I was thinking already. So what I'm going to do right now is try to build the best Abzan deck that I can. What that would look like is going to be a splash on black. Because, look, Bilevile Boggart, Double Barb Bloodletter, Boggart Prankster, and Moonglove Extractor are not making my deck. And then the other cards, the triple Unbury, they could make my deck. I mean, Mudbutt and Curse Tosser also won't. And the triple Unbury could, maybe I could play one or something, but this is not a core for a functioning winning sealed deck, right? So that tells me I pretty much just have to be green-white base splashing black. So I'm going to build the best deck like that I can. So unfortunately, as much as I want to play Morkan size, I just don't think it's going to get the support. I'm not playing this Black Elf package of a bunch of mediocre 3-drops. Dawn's Light Archer and Stoic Grove Guide are a little bit below the quality that I would ideally play in my deck. And then if you set aside the Morkan size itself, I'm left with 1 elf, I believe. Oh no, okay, so I'm left with 2 elves and 3 shapeshifters. I don't think that's going to do the trick. So we're probably cutting Morkan size. I actually would not hate running a keep out, and I'm going to not run the Midnight Tilling because it really only, yeah, I mean, you know, it is card selection, but it really only goes with Morkan size. I think my deck wants a little bit more of a top end, so I would consider playing something like the Chitinous Graspling, even though it's not very good. This is now fully a Kifkin synergy deck. We have 6 Kifkin plus 4 Shapeshifters is 10 Kifkins total, which is pretty good for sealed. But I'm not going to go so far as to put in the Reluctant Down Guards. So I think I might actually cut the Feisty Spikeling because I don't think this is a set where you need a mega fast curve. Although I really am low on things to do early in the game. That's a huge problem with this deck. So maybe Morkan size, Chitinous Graspling, and 1 Dawn's Light Archer, something like that. Just to have higher impact cards overall. And then hopefully my removal quality makes up for the deck being a little bit slow. And I do have some bombs. And maybe instead of Marrow Sky Swimmer, I could play something like Midnight Tilling. I do feel that I'm lacking a little bit of top end. Like my ways of winning are Figure of Fable, maybe if I can protect the Watershaper. Bridget doesn't really have ramp targets in this deck. So maybe instead of the Graspling, I can take a hit to my creature types, which is 5 elves is so low for Morkan size. I don't think I can do that. Okay, so I'm just leaning all the way in on Kifkin synergies. I have 10 Kifkins in this deck overall. I'm liking the Black Splash. Maybe I need 1 more Black Pip in here, but I'm optimistic about it. But my curve toppers are quite weak. We're going to need to win through cards like Thought-Weft Imbuer, I think. But I think this Abzan deck is my best chance. My red really disappointed. Maybe if I lose my first game, I will hop into blue instead. All right, let's try our first game. If you do want to get better at Magic right along with me, I post a new draft video every single day. I try to talk through my decisions really carefully, and my vision is that I'm getting better at Magic every single day by drafting every day, but also I'm bringing a community along with me. I really like to hear your feedback, and I'm trying to include you in my decision making from beginning to end of every event. So if you would like to get better at Magic right along with me, do go ahead and subscribe to the channel. You can just expand the description below at the very top. There is a link to subscribe. Click on that, and you will get notifications for every draft that I post every day. Or not notifications if you don't turn those on. You'll get a little thing that tells you that I posted. Join me, and let's get better at Magic together. It's the Feldegriff versus Feldegriff matchup that we have all been waiting for. Hooray! Okay, well, we naturally got all 3 of our lands. This is definitely going to be a slow roll. Probably Changeling Wayfinder is going to fetch me a forest. The deck looks okay overall, my deck. I just think that, so it's just a land. No way am I running out Dundulin Weaver. Am I going to play Moon Vigil Adherence turn 4? Probably I'm just going to play Thought-Weft Imbuer. Okay, there's nothing for double red, so that probably means my opponent's missing their second color. There is something for double black, a mythic rare. So probably I'll play the Thought-Weft Imbuer next turn. Definitely I want the second green, right? It would not help me play Weeping Willow, Hovel Hurler, but I think that's basically it. Oh yes, by the way, Taster of Wares is nicely supported because of the number of shapeshifters I'm playing. I mean, I'm playing a reasonable number of shapeshifters. Anyways, rare quality's pretty good. think I'll definitely do the Thought Weft Imbuer. Synergy's okay in this deck. They could have a 4-2 flash. I think that's fine. I'm very let down by my uncommon card quality. They do have the 4-2 flash. I think that's really where I got into some issues. Feed the Flames, okay. Unfortunately, Dundulin Weaver cannot fetch that. And it does not buff Moon Vigil Adherence, and now I can't cast Wildvine Pummeler. So, extremely good turn from the opponent there. That was one effective Feed the Flames. Now all I can do is, I guess I'll play the mana efficient one. I mean, I could also play Adept Watershaper with the logic that if they kill it, I get to play Moon Vigil Adherence and loop with Dundulin Weaver. That's probably the right way to go. If they were mana screwed, they sure found their lands in a hurry. They could have just been bluffing being mana screwed, I suppose. I'll definitely take that damage. Stoic Grove Guide is okay. Okay, so can I play the Feisty Spikeling and then play the Wildvine Pummeler? Feisty Spikeling. And I can play Moon Vigil Adherence, not Wildvine Pummeler. That's fine. It's a 4-4, that's fine. I suppose I could have attacked with Changeling Wayfinder, actually. They probably just would have blocked, though. Yeah, the other really good thing about my deck is my removal package, although I'm not seeing that right now. So if they attack, I'll snap block. Just going to block with both because I have Dundulin Weaver. I don't love the idea of losing the Feisty Spikeling. But yeah, I have a very low life total. It's not like I can take 9 damage here. I'm sure they have some combat trick. Feed the Flames on the Watershaper. Feed the Flames is such an incredibly annoying one. Because it exiles the card, right? Okay, suppose I could have double blocked. That would have been maybe a good decision. But okay, I can play Figure of Fable 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't, no matter what I do, never in my life can I ever play a Wildvine Pummeler. It's so funny. So the double Feed the Flames means that my whole plan of Dundulin Weaver did not work. I suppose what I could do is Figure of Fable, Dundulin Weaver, and then actually, maybe I do just play the Wildvine Pummeler. Somehow I thought that I couldn't play it, but that kind of seems good. I'm hoping that they've used all of their removal, or all of their Feed the Flameses. If they still have a Bite spell, let's say, to kill Figure of Fable, then I can Dundulin Weaver the Figure of Fable back. And part of why I was okay accepting that, okay, I'll certainly block here. Dundulin Weaver to bring back Wildvine Pummeler is nice. Bringing back Moon Vigil Adherence is also nice. Now I just want to level up my Figure of Fable as quickly as possible, though. So Figure could level up 1, 1, 2, 3. Then I play Dundulin Weaver and bring something back. So I'll tap like this. They ripped a Formidable Speaker, which is an amazing draw for them. And I think I'll take the Moon Vigil Adherence. Now the question is, would I rather start leveling Figure of Fable? Almost certainly yes. Almost certainly yes. Well, okay, so I can go 1, 4, and then next turn 6. Yeah, let's definitely start leveling the Figure. This is not only as a sorcery, yeah, okay. Maybe it would have been a good idea to play the land. I don't really have much that warrants leaving things in my hand. Okay, well here I'll certainly just block with Changeling Wayfinder. No real reason not to. Because otherwise they have me on a 2-turn clock. Yeah, Feed the Flames specifically was so bad for me. The fact that they were exiling my creatures when I had a Dundulin Weaver in play. But next turn, I should have a Figure of Fable online. There's no creature they can tutor here that can destroy target Figure of Fable, to my knowledge. Pitching a land. See what they get. There's obviously a lot of good stuff that they could have. Saner is, wow. I mean, wow. They have a great deck. All right, well, I'll level up the figure twice. Now the question is, do I attack? So I'm 1 mana short of casting both Moon Vigil Adherence and Reaping Willow. Reaping Willow could bring back Changeling Wayfinder and buy me a turn. I think I just want to start putting the pressure on. Can I possibly attack? What if they attack with everything? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I wouldn't die. And this cannot be blocked. I think I'm going to do a slightly passive move here, but I'm just going to level up figure and not attack. It really puts the onus on them to show me how they're going to kill me. I also have a lifelinker in my hand. High Perfect Morcant is rather annoying. But they don't have the mana for it right now. So they weren't able to cast it. So they're splashing black. Wow. I wonder if they have like Bogslither's Embrace or whatever. Okay, Eclipse Boggart looking for a black. So they didn't take the chance on finding High Perfect Morcant there. Great Forest Druid. Okay. If I want to, I can turn it back into a 2/3. It may still have protection from each of my opponents. I've never tried demoting my Figure of Fable. All right, go to my turn. Now I think it's crystal clear that I have to just start attacking, right? So I'm going to go in with the figure. It's unblockable. Go ahead and play the Reaping Willow. Then the question is, I'm almost certain I do want to activate the Reaping Willow here, bringing back a 1/2, which is another blocker, rather than just playing a chunky Moon Vigil Adherence, and upping my Reaping Willow's power, because having a 3-power lifelinker seems very effective for me. And let's see, I'm more likely to want maybe another green, I'd say. And I'll go ahead and play that and end. Okay, I mean, they still have 2 turns to get something here. Wow, that's a lot of cards to rip off the top. Yeah, they have a pretty big Vivid count, don't they? Their deck is sweet. I would way rather be playing their deck than my deck. But my deck has Figure of Fable. I suppose I could always have Soul Immolation, but now we've seen almost the majority of their deck. Soul Immolation, they would also need an 8/8. I think, can it? I don't remember Soul Immolation. Oh, anything controlled by your opponent. Can't be dealt damage by anything controlled by your opponents. I assume that includes spells, so maybe Soul Immolation doesn't even kill this guy. Figure of Fable is such a cheesy card. It's totally ridiculous. So they can Explosive Prodigy, but they cannot kill the Reaping Willow with that alone. Changeling Wayfinder is definitely going to just chump the Kulrath Zealot. I think I'm holding back their blocks pretty well. I do love Reaping Willow. Yeah, I mean, most games where I level a Figure of Fable all the way up, I'll win. I don't know that I'm going to win this one, but most games where you have a fully leveled Figure of Fable, you're going to win. I'm just not sure in how many decks, in how many games my deck is going to manage that, and the rest of my deck is pretty unimpressive. All right, we're attacking with a bunch of stuff. Yeah, it makes sense to me, right? I mean, so what's their Vivid count? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I cannot let Reaping Willow... I might not want to let Reaping Willow take all that much damage. 2, 4, 5. There's no way I'm getting through attackers because they're about to play 2 blockers. So we're really just on damage prevention mode here. So block there with Changeling Wayfinder, block there with this guy. And then I kind of want to just not block with Reaping Willow so that they don't get to kill it. That does mean that next turn I maybe I have to attack with Reaping Willow. The other thing is Reaping Willow and Dundulin Weaver could double block Saner, so that at least I'm trading the Reaping Willow for something good. Maybe that's a good idea. The only thing is, then they may just have a pump spell for Saner. +3 here would almost kill me though, so maybe I do just want to double block the Saner. I guess the other situation which that would be a mistake is if they have a removal spell for Dundulin Weaver, and then they play the Prodigy. Yeah, but I'm maintaining a good life total in that situation, aren't I? So I think let's do that. Oh, the other thing, though, is if I kill the Eclipse Boggart and the Elf, their Vivid count falls to 4. Oh, but I would still take 4 damage on my Reaping Willow, so that doesn't work. Okay, let's try this. See if it works. Looks like they're assigning damage. It looks like it worked. So in that case, I get rid of Stainer. I go to 9. Now they're going to Void Maid Prodigy, killing Reaping Willow. On my attack, they go to 1. And then I just need to survive next turn through chump blocks. And I'm going to have a 7/7 Moon Vigil Adherence, which can block Colress Zealot profitably. They do have a lot of attackers, but I'm at 9. Yep, they get to kill Reaping Willow. It's true. I agree. I agree. It was kind of nice to get through that combat, though, with Dundulin Weaver alive. Tristan, gain 2 does not matter. Your clock is the same, but making me lose 2 is going to matter, right? That might be the game right there, actually. Another land. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think I lost because of their Feed the Flames, unfortunately. I think the fact that they had specifically Feed the Flames cost me this game. Right. I'm not totally sure what I could have... I mean, I did have several decisions. There were several things I could have done differently, but let's see. I can block 3, 6. I take 2, 4. Yeah, it's over. I guess I could have not attacked with Figure of Fable there to just stay alive for one more turn. Yes, of course you flip Tristan. I lose 2 life. Then you get in for 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Which is much more than lethal. Too bad. I'll just ask them to please make the lethal attack. Maybe I'll try the base white-blue deck. It's just too bad that we're staring at that Dundulin Weaver and they exiled both of these 2 creatures. Otherwise, I would have been able to loop them, and I had enough turns where I had extra mana that I'm confident it could have happened. Okay, I'm getting tired of waiting for them to just make the lethal attack. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So without Tristan, I still would have died. If Tristan had just been a generic 3/3, I still would have died. And yeah, holding back Figure of Fable wouldn't have made the difference. Let's try the white-blue deck. I'm happy to have Figure of Fable, but my commons are mediocre and my uncommons are terrible overall. If you look at like the distribution of power level among my uncommons, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. This one's okay and okay. My blue uncommons are actually pretty good. Terrible, terrible, very mediocre, terrible, terrible, terrible. Needs the support that I don't have, so terrible in this context. Terrible and needs support that I don't have. So I have all in all 4 playable uncommons. I guess let's try building blue because that's the only color that I have uncommons in that I can play. Okay, maybe I'll try a little something like this. It does not look so good for me. It does not look so good to me, but it has a comparable removal package. Brigid can no longer be activated, which kind of sucks. Figure of Fable becomes a lot harder to activate. The Kithkin stuff gets a lot worse. Okay, I've just talked myself out of it. I'm going to go back to my previous deck. Okay, I'm back on the Abzan deck. I don't know what I'm expecting to happen differently this time. I think last game, I don't know, maybe there were some different decisions that I could have made. I do feel that we were very close to winning, actually. This is I mean, I like this hand because it has a turn 1 Figure of Fable. I think I'll keep it because I do get Wildvine Pummeler on a discount and Wary Farmer if I can get 1 more land and I'm on the draw. Turn 1 Figure of Fable is a little risky because it can die, but it's also a little awesome because you can just immediately turn it into a 2/3. It just gives you good things to do in your first few turns. Drawing both of our swamps is pretty awkward. Well, I'll just play that And then I might as well attack. Turns into a 2/3. So I'll level it up. Yeah, and then we got them down to 3, so 1 attack away from dead. It's possible there were ways for me to just deal a little bit more damage. Oh, did my opponent just not play anything? Yeah, that's a little tough. Well, I will attack. Even if they play Mischievous Sneakling, this guy turns into a 4/5. So I'm going to leave that as 2 damage, because it's not like there's a removal spell that will kill it as a result of me leaving it as 2. Okay, yep. So we correctly read Sneakling as a possibility, but it didn't really matter. All right, they did get their next land. So let me play a land. I would love to level up Figure of Fable. Now I'm not going to attack with Figure of Fable because it could die to a removal spell, to Riverguard's Reflexes or something like that. So let's just try the Marrow Sky Swimmer. They do not have counter mana up. I guess I could also attack with Reese. Or attack with Wary Farmer and then cast Reese. That's kind of an interesting one, but I think let's do the Marrow Sky Swimmer. I don't want to have them deal 4 damage to target tapped creature, so let's go ahead and play the Sky Swimmer using the Wary Farmer as the invoke. No attacks, and then I'll go to... Oh, I like Taster of Wares. I don't have any goblins, but Taster of Wares plus Reese is a good one, right? That's a good one. Don't hate that. So I'll go ahead and play this. This turn, though, I really do want to activate Figure. I'm going to do Figure right now, actually. Just because next turn I can level it up to max. Does feel like a shame now that I dropped that game. But what can you do? All right, level Figure up all the way. And in with Figure, and I have them on a 1-turn clock. Yep, we got there. Figure of Fable's a really good one. Yeah, I really wonder what I could have done differently in game 1. All right, on to the next one. Not my greatest hand ever. Probably that's just a mulligan. I mean, I have a 2-drop and I have a 4-drop. Wow, I'm getting really punished by this Black Splash. This is a much nicer hand. I'll keep and probably just put back Chitinous Graspling. Brigid turns on Dundulin Weaver itself, unless they kill the Brigid, and that's what you're trying to bring back. Then you need to play another creature. Okay, that's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. Just naturally drawing the swamp. Well, then I'll just run Brigid out. And then we do have Assert Perfection if need be, but otherwise we're just kind of looking for something good. I guess Brigid is really nice with Figure of Fable because it can make Figure of Fable such a mana-hungry card. Well, I'll definitely just take that damage, no doubt. Eclipsed Marrow is a very, very strong card. I am a little sad that I did not get any of the Eclipse cards, and they ripped Champions of the Shoal off the top, of course. I cannot assert Perfection at Champions of the Shoal. Yeah, this is looking like the end of the road. The Eclipse Marrow into Champions of the Shoal is like, I don't know, maybe 10% that I can pull this game out somehow. Well, no, actually, I have really good removal. I have not seen a single Bogslith's Embrace this entire event, period. So that's a little bit unfortunate for me. But I do have 2 of them in my deck. If I can find one now, I'm happy. The fact that they put it on Champions of the Shoal is really good for them. Really, really good for them. Another land is really, really bad for me. Yeah. I don't know. Let me know what you would have done with this pool. This was really one of my rougher ones. It always sucks when you get a top bomb. I think I'll just take the 6 or 8 here. It really sucks when you get a top bomb and then your common and uncommon card quality just doesn't come through. I don't know, maybe someone can see a deck in here that I just didn't, but felt like a very, very weak pool once you got past the few strong bombs that I managed to open. I do love Figure of Fable. The rares were not the problem. Okay, that's something. That is something. So if I flip this guy, I'll definitely play figure. Even if they counter it, I have done Dueling Weaver. It's too bad, though, that Bridget is tapped. So I can't even level up figure. But I guess the dream here is I can level it twice. Next turn, they're going to have to tap it. But then Bridget makes a 1/1. I get some chump blockers. And then after that, I can start leveling it more. That feels like the idea. I'm not going to attack. It's important for me to have chump blockers when I'm so low. I do like that they did nothing on their turn 5. I do wonder if they have another color. I assume they will attack. And then I'm just going to chump block a Kithkin into champions. I might take 3. But we'll see what they do. I mean, they have 5 cards in hand and 6 lands, and they haven't done anything in a few turns. Well, they didn't do anything last turn. Another exile. Dundulin Weaver. This is why Dundulin Weaver is just not very good, right? This is why Dundulin Weaver is just not very good. Because so many of these removal spells, Bogslow's Embrace, Spiral into Solitude, the Flames, 5-mana Flames card, all exile the creature. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just double walk that Timid Shield Bearer, take the 4. Because I don't think they can... Well, they could Riverguard's Reflexes and then also exile, but they've committed 2 mana to exiling my figure. All right, I'll level it up and then level it up again. Might as well. Okay, they can Blight. Now if I can get a 4-power creature... Okay, that's something. That is very much something. So I have the mana to Blight this champions. But I actually don't want to, because that will give them back their 2/3. Okay, so now they have to find something else. Another champions. Okay. Champions of the Shoal, by the way. I believe, I'm looking it up. It has almost the same win rate as Figure of Fable. And they just showed me that they have 2 of them. Well, at least my Bridget is indestructible now. Not that that really helped. All right, I mean, they're still not outright winning. They are eventually in the long run. Temporal Cleansing. I'll put that on the bottom. It's not what I need. All right, too bad. Not a very good run. I don't know. Let me know what you would have done. We won 1 game against a Manuscript opponent. Almost won another game, but it was really not in the cards as far as I could tell. I mean, looking at our pool, like, let's just debrief for a moment. My white was fine, but not amazing. My black had 3 cards that were really good that I splashed for. And by the way, I never saw the removal that I put in there. My white rares were quite good. I mean, Figure of Fable, Bridget, and Adept Watershaper, that is the makings of a good deck. But then after that, like, what else was there? I couldn't play my black, right, as a main color. There's just no way. I tried putting together blue and white as a main color, but then it was like, Figure of Fable gets a lot worse. Bridget gets unplayable. Thoughtweft Imbuer gets almost unplayable. And I'm doing it for what, like Summit Sentinels? You know, I mean, I do get Omni Changeling, which I guess could be another Figure of Fable in the best case scenario. It's really not looking like how you need it to look. And then my green was very hollow. I mean, it contributed only Moon Vigil Adherence, Assert Perfection. There was a Morkan size and a Midnight Tilling, but we couldn't make the Morkan size work. And then what else? I mean, Our red was also pretty much unplayable, I would say. Like, we spent all these slots on like an uncommon slot on a giant fall, uncommon slot on a lasting tarfire, triple enraged flamecasters, reckless ransacking, burning curiosity, giant fall, bone club berserker, sizzling changeling. All of those cards I just listed are not good cards. And then we also had 2 rares spent on dual lands. Yeah, pretty weak pool. Let me know if you see something better. But I'll definitely be trying again tomorrow. Until then, have tons of fun playing Magic and don't be afraid to splash.